Oh, man. Big
Did you ever feel pressed to be good? Because both of them cats turned out to be pretty nice, man.
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people ask me that, but I really didn't, man. I didn't. I loved it. I loved just playing just out in the yard, like just with my brothers. But it just came natural. Just playing sports and just like I said, out in the yard. In the community. At the North Mabee Center, man, just in the neighborhood, man. So that's how I feel like I got better. That's how I feel like I just improved in all skills. We played all sports growing up.
Exactly.
So man, just that's kind of how it was growing up, man. We just played all sports, whatever season it was. That's what we played. Right, when we got home from school, took off our clothes, did our homework. We was outside playing that sport, man.
Had to get the homework done.
I got to get the homework done first, man. Moms didn't play that, man. So. And that definitely a staple too. Moms just being there supporting. Man, I can't remember my mom missing any of my games. So she was always there supporting, man. And I always feel like that's a big missing part in a lot today. Is kind of just that support, man. You just look in the crowd, man. I can go to college, like no matter where it was. If I had to find my mom, like I'm good. You know what I mean? So just that support, man. So she was definitely a staple with that too.
Man, what type of fan was she in the stands? Was she cool, calm, and collective, or was she gonna get rowdy?
Oh no, she was embarrassing, man. She was, and when you go back to like pressure, like my mom's like, if I wasn't playing good, I never forget, man. When we were at the Norman tournament,
right.
And then it was during the school days. The tournament, it wasn't a lot of
so
crowds.
You talking about basketball?
Basketball. We're on basketball right now. So it was, and Shay was the coach at the time at McLean, and we were at the Norman tournament. It was dead quiet, probably about 10 fans in the stands, and I was playing bad. Man. And my mom was like, take him out, like he's playing horrible, like, and it was dead silence. And they like, that's your mom? I'm like, yes, like, and Shay like, that's all right, like, so yeah, man, like that was her, man. But she, like I said, she was there supporting everything. Yeah. And that was how she was.
Man, taking it back just a step, which sport was the first one that you fell in love with, if you can remember?
Honestly, man, it was baseball.
No, I never knew that.
Baseball, man. North Mabee. I wanted to play baseball. Like that was one of the first, few sports I got in. That was my first championship I ever won in any sport was in baseball. So I wanted to play baseball, but definitely out there it was basketball. But then I would go on the AAU tournaments. I'm like, I gotta stick to football, man. So I kind of figured out there in that span right there. Man,
so you came to grips with that on your own? Like, all right, I'm probably going to be better at football. Nobody ever told you or tried to push you one way?
Absolutely not. I never forget. I was at an AAU tournament playing with PWP, Shay Seals, and Lee.
Squad now.
We had a squad, but it was just in that we playing Atlanta Celtics, and I'm like, I'm guarding a 6'5" point. I'm like, no way, I can't, you know what I mean? So it just like, I knew then I wanted to play football. Like, honestly, it was just at that moment I knew I wanted to play football.
But you played basketball and football all throughout high school,
All throughout high school, yeah.
When did you put the baseball bat and glove and ball down?
Middle school. Middle school, when we got to 6th grade, it wasn't any. It was teams, but it was kind of patchy here and there.
Right.
So middle school.
Right.
Yep. But that was my first love for sure.
How were your brothers on you when you were growing up playing? Were they super supportive or were they hard on you like mom was?
Oh no, they were hard on me, man. Harder. I tell everybody, like, I didn't like the outside noise and just people, like, that didn't bother me. Like, my brothers, like, probably had the biggest influence of what I thought, when it came to sports at that time, or just, I needed to play. Like, I always went to them too. They was on me. So if they approved, then that was good. But it was always something with Prentice. It was always something that I can improve on. But that was just him, man. That was him, man. He personally taught me how to go left. He dribble up and down the street, like he drilled it, like. And so he was that person that made me fall in love with sports for sure.
And me and Jeremy, we graduated in the same class in 07, and you came out in 09.
Yep.
So y'all two were in school at the same time for 2 years.
Yeah.
What was that like, man? Just from a student standpoint, being in the building, you little bro, because I know he had a name, popular and all
Absolutely.
that. How was that on you?
It was cool. Like you said, it was big bro. So I just kind of fell in line. But football, I always feel like football kind of bridged that. Like so, I feel with what I already knew. Most of the guys just from. I always say, man, I know from Prentice friends to Jeremy friends. I know we all friends. Like
right.
So, just kind of just growing up and just we all be being friends. Yeah.
Man, talking ball, because you said something that brought back a memory to me. You said Prentice was the one that taught you how to go left on the dribble. I got a vision in my mind. I know I'm all over the place, but as I think about it, we're gonna go.
Me too. Yeah.
So I remember when we played, we as in Central, we played McLean at McLean, and I think it was my senior year, which would have been your sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was holding the ball out top, and you was a young boy at that time.
Yeah.
Took the ball from me, went on down there and went and scored. I'm like, man, this young dude tough right here, man. And we got to go and shake it back. But I always remember whenever you put the ball on the floor, predominantly you going left.
I'm going left.
You know what I mean? Even though you're right hand dominant.
Yeah, I remember people like go left. But I went left probably 95% of the time. And that's Prentice. Like I don't know what it was, but just my dominant hand was left. But like you said, just a scouting report. That's my scouting report right there in the hoops. Like I'm gonna go left, but. You can thank Prentice for that.
How was the middle school athletic experience? Because you went to Monroe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, the culture over there, especially during that time, was dogs, man. Y'all was always winning it or in the thick of it.
Absolutely.
In football and basketball. So what was that run like?
It was great, man.
On the football tip.
Actually, right. In football, man, because before I went to in middle school, I didn't play quarterback. Coach Payne here now. That's the
Jarvis Payne.
Yep, Coach Jarvis Payne was like, you're a quarterback, and I was like, I don't play quarterback, Coach. Like, and he put me in. I played it since then. But it was great, man. We went to the championship my 6th grade year. We played. I think it was Bird. I think it was still Bird.
Middle school was
yeah. So, but it was good, man. And then I think we had the varsity team, man. But like you said, just competing against each other, like the JV varsity. I've been trying to think of some names that was on that team, man. It was Sheldon Washington. It was some older cats on. It was some older cats on there. Like you said, that was dogs, man. It definitely developed that you had to be tough on that football field. Even when you might not want to practice. You might not want to be out there. We're going to do hidden drills.
In them elements, though. That heat beaming down on you?
Man, you better strap it up. So middle school, it was a great experience, man. It definitely developed me to, go to high school.
Now, did y'all have 3 teams during that time, a 6th grade, a 7th, and an 8th, or was it collab in some way?
Oh, hey, did you get me to thinking?
Yeah,
No, it was.
Because what I'm gearing up to ask you really is, were you playing up?
No, I didn't. I didn't play up. I was trying to remember why I never played up. It was some dogs on the team for one.
Yeah.
But I remember Pearly Gray who went here, but went to East Central. He played up because we went to Monroe together. Right. He played up, but no, I didn't. I didn't, man. I don't know why I didn't. Thinking back, I did.
But I'm telling you, man, it couldn't have been because of lack of capability.
No.
Because when you got so many,
but it was some dogs. Yeah.
Man. You gotta create some space for all the talent to grow.
Absolutely.
I feel that. Now I'm gonna take it back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Bulldogs or the Jammers or the Mustangs. My bad.
I actually played for both, man.
Wow. It's like going to Duke and Carolina.
Absolutely. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but I actually played for both. Mm-hmm. I actually played up when I first started. I played up with Jeremy.
All right.
So I always played up until I couldn't anymore. And when you go back to that, it made me thinking, like, that was another reason why I always played up a grade when it came to football. And I started playing with him, with Coach. I actually played with DJ, was our quarterback, DJ Birmingham.
Man, I got a joke about my boy was scrambled back 15 yards, game 2.
Yeah, man, we had a squad, Jameer King, Ronald Shaw, Jermaine Holmes. We had a squad, man. I can keep naming them. We had Jeremy was on the squad. We had a squad, man. But I played there with them, and then until I couldn't anymore, and then I went and played at the North maybe my last year.
Yeah. What forced that move? Was it just you needed a change now that the Big Bros is gone?
Yeah, I just needed to change. Big Bro was gone, man. So I just it was closer to the crib too.
Yeah.
So it was a no-brainer.
How dominant were y'all during that time? Both spots.
With the boys club, we was dominant, man. We always think like, man, we always like got to the championship and never won it. Like it was always, yeah, man. We always think about that, man. It was always either the cold weather. We played at Union Turf,
right?
On it when it was a hard concrete then, man.
Before
it was plush, man. And we never won it. But we always dominant throughout the year. Throughout the years, we were dominant, but yeah, never won it. Man.
Who would end up beating y'all? Was it a different team?
Broken Arrow. I never forget Broken Arrow. They always got us.
Man,
always got us. I forgot the kid name, but he was nice. Yeah,
giving it to y'all, huh?
Giving it to us.
So and that you said that was pre-quarterbacking days. So where they have you at that time?
I played DN and then I played tight end. So
rock,
yeah. And my play was a tight end reverse. If I got that play, yeah, it was a wrap.
Taking that thing to the crib.
Yeah, I never forget that.
Hey man, you know what I think a lot of times gets forgotten whenever players or former athletes are talking about their journey is the influence of their early coaches. Man, because like some good coaches got their hands on us,
Absolutely.
Figuratively speaking, before we really just grew into our own. So who were some of the coaches you played for before when you still elementary age that groomed you?
Man, I would say definitely Coach Goff
legend.
Absolute legend at the boys club with many more. Coach Holmes was one of those coaches. Early years, Coach Buck at the North Maybe.
He still got the same tone of voice today.
Still, absolutely, man. Just always being, just that person talking about sports. So, and when you talk about them elementary years, for sure, just always going up to the North Maybe, for sure.
How much different was the basketball experience during that same age level? You just broke down how it was on the field.
Man, in basketball, the thing was like I wasn't as good in basketball at elementary age. Like I wasn't as good. I don't, and I always tell people like I just wasn't like I didn't start playing AU like competitively until I got to middle school. I don't know, it was just something clicked, and then I started playing AU with Punchy. Now Team Tulsa.
For sure.
And then man, I just blossomed from there, man. To be honest, yeah.
That's interesting, man, because usually kids like to do what they're good at. Yeah. So if they see they're not thriving pretty early, like they'll be like, nah, I'm cool on that. But what made you hang in there, man? Or did you just have that village that wasn't gonna let you quit?
You hit it on the head. Just that village, you wasn't gonna quit. So just keep just working at it. Just working at it, man. Just like I said, in the neighborhood, playing with my older brothers, playing with. I remember just going to Chamberlain, playing with Prentice at Chamberlain. Like I remember those times, like man, and like I used to play against like grown men and like elementary, middle school, grown men, like, and it just make you better.
Was he on your ass the whole time?
The whole time, man, the whole time. It wasn't no, don't guard down. It was, you playing. Mm-hmm. You got to hold your own.
I think the good news on that part is, I bet you always on the court, though.
Always on the court.
If I'm on, bro on.
If you lose, you off. And then that's how it was playing pickup.
Yeah.
If you lost, you might as well go home.
You sit for a long time.
You're gonna be sitting, so man, you got to play.
Bringing back those park memories, man.
Yeah.
You a Northside kid.
Absolutely.
Man, talk about the stigma that this side of town gets, fairly or unfairly, in my opinion. Your experience couldn't have been so bad. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
So what's it really like growing up where you grew up, the sense of community and the love that exists over here? That's
a great question. I always tell people that, I know, like you said, kind of over the place, but like, when I went to TU, like people, they hear about North Tulsa and how it is, and I always tell them it's not like that. You're not gonna walk down the street and somebody just gonna punch you or rob you. Like, it's not like that, man. Like, but just the sense it was a community. Like, if you did something bad, you knew somebody knew you, so they was gonna know. They knew moms or they knew pops, or so they knew. It was a sense of community, man, and everybody was held accountable. But it was nothing. Like you said, that stigma of is bad. Yeah, it's bad in all parts. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just not all negative. It's a lot of positive things that happen in North Tulsa. Products in North Tulsa, man, that go and do great things. I always say, like yourself, man. Like, I don't know if you know, like I'm proud of you as you coming back, like as a alum, man. I always like that's huge giving back to our community, because I always say like so many people poured into us. Like, it's only right that we give back and for that next generation. So in North Tulsa produces so many of those people that don't get enough notoriety, that doing great things in the community.
That's for sure, man. I appreciate that love right there, man.
Yeah.
And I was telling somebody the other day, off the record, but I'm gonna say it on the record. I mean, listen, think of some of your. I ain't gonna even. Let's talk specifically athletics. All right.
Yeah.
But some of your best athletes, no matter where they go to school at or where they graduate from, I can tell you where they live.
I can tell you where, man. I always say that, man. Like if people went to schools and where they went to school.
Yeah. In the district that they live in.
Man, it wouldn't. It'd be different. The landscape would be totally different, man. I always said that being in schools where you struggle with numbers and just things like that. But if people went to the schools where they supposed to, it'd look different.
Man, look out. Way different.
Like you said, you can put that on the record because that's the truth, man. Like I always say that now, just being older and outside looking in, like. And a lot of our kids leave just because, but
that's the business of it. I ain't gonna complain, but I know.
Yeah,
know.
Right. You in the business,
So when you first stepped foot in high school, man, the adjustment, not even talking athletics, but just on a primal level, like you going from being one of the big guys on campus as an 8th grader, now you're right back to the bottom of the totem pole. Yeah. Going into high school. And I was talking with my principal over here the other day, no matter what type of face that these youngsters put on, they a little bit nerved up, man. When you're uncertain, you're a little nervous. Yeah. AKA, you're a little bit scared. You know
absolutely.
I mean? So how was your experience
man,
when you first got there?
I made mistakes. I made mistakes. Like you said, it was a new experience. It was a new atmosphere. Then high school was totally different than it is now. I always tell everybody, like, I made mistakes my freshman year in high school. That flourished like grades wise, where I feel like I let other things distract me. So it was just me. I had to get back in control. So and for me, sports did that. Sports always reeled me back in if I got off track a little bit.
I'm telling you, man, because look here, this is the reality. A lot of the student athletes, they only students because they get a chance to be an athlete.
Man, I always say that, like, man, and honestly, and I'll be truthful when I talk to and speak to the kids now. Like, for me, like, I wouldn't have went to school probably if it weren't for sports. But sports motivated me to do good in school. I graduated from the University of Tulsa. Like, it's just like, for me, I'm more proud of that than anything.
Yeah, man.
So
that's dang near Ivy League, Chief.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
man.
You ain't get no BS education going that route.
Nah, not at all. Just my freshman year in high school, just made mistakes for us grades or whatever. Just not being aware of my surroundings and things like that. Put myself in bad situations. Well, I wouldn't say bad situations, but situations where I knew I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Yeah, I knew better, exactly. So, man, just coming from that and graduating from the University of Tulsa was a huge accomplishment for me.
I'm telling you, man, and you deserve a lot more mention than you get for doing that right there. Yeah. But let me ask you this: who were your accountability people at that time? Was anybody trying to steer you back on track, or did you just have to fix it yourself when you realized you were going left?
No, absolutely. When we're talking about like coaches and just like mentors, like Marco Harris.
Oh my God.
From yeah, man.
Both our guys.
He from the early years, and I mentioned Punchy too. Dave Harris, like, he was also with that AU coach, speaking athletics, and those were the people that always that was that foundation during that time right there. And always kept me on track. And I knew I had to do what I was supposed to do I was dealing with them.
And it seemed like it didn't take you much to figure out, like, you right, let me get back on track.
No, absolutely. And you tell me, like, high school, I had a teacher, a mentor, Stephanie Hansen, who also, helped me a lot, like when it came to academics and things like that. Make sure, I'm staying on the right track when it came to things like that. Just helping with, as far as academic, ACT, things like that. And just being a person that, that really just stayed on me when it came to that part, because I knew I had to have somebody on me when it came to that, and she definitely was that person.
Something about the fellas, man. We get lazy. Yeah, not that we don't have it up top. We just don't be having it in here. We got to put that battery in your back.
That was her.
Boot in your butt.
She always told me I was lazy. That was it. So, yep.
So, man, can you remember your welcome to high school or welcome to varsity moment on that field, whether it was in a game or it was in practice, where it's like, oh, this is a different level here?
High school level?
Yes, sir.
You got me thinking now, AD.
Yeah, man.
It had to be probably practice, man. Big Tony, and then
Yes, sir.
Big Tony and Paul. I think I was running scout team or something, and I tried to get a move in both of them. Pow! Freshman year, because it was scout team and it was first team D. That was my welcome to high school moment right there for sure. I remember that. Yeah, you had me thinking.
Now you weren't playing varsity your freshman year, were you?
No, I did. I started on defense. I started linebacker my freshman year.
Man.
I did. Marcus Wilson was the quarterback my freshman year.
Yeah. That's one of the best athletes I've never been around.
Man, I tell people that all the time, man. He by far one of the best athletes. Any position.
Don't matter.
It don't matter. You know.
Do the same thing in the gym. I'm like, man, did he just
exactly? Yep.
Like that.
Yep.
So when you remember your first varsity game, man, as a freshman, and were you nerved up, man? Big eyes and everything.
Man, Booker T, Northside Classic.
That
was my first game. That was my first game. Boy, was I nervous. Like that was probably still not to this day, but high school, that was the biggest crowd I played in front of.
Straight up.
Northside Classic, freshman year,
man,
by far. Yeah.
How was your performance? You remember?
Oh yeah. It was straight. I had like 7 tackles. It's like So with that, being a freshman, I was straight. Because Mike Harris was a running back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they scored a problem by far. They didn't call him. Yeah, he was nice. So yeah.
Golly. So I would imagine since it at the high school level, it don't get no bigger. It don't get much bigger than that game right there. And then you perform, so you probably wasn't nervous at all every game after that.
Not after that, man. It was straight. And like I said, it was straight defense. So I just had to focus on defense. And that's how I knew, that's how I knew I wanted to play just defense in college, because I did it in, just my freshman year, and I loved it. Playing offense, and it was cool. I had a lot of accolades offense-wise, but it was a lot.
Man.
Yeah.
So your sophomore year, were you playing both ways by then?
Yeah, I was. That's where the offense kicked in. That's where I had probably almost 2,000 rushing for sophomore year. I had 1,500 passing. Yeah, that's when Jeremy was a receiver then. So he was my go-to. He was my go-to man.
Brother connection.
I think he had 13 touchdowns that year, senior year.
Oh man.
Yeah. I was feeding it to him. Yeah.
QB.
Yeah, man.
So it sounded like once Coach Payne made you QB, it was something you either fell in love with or you just figured out how to do, or both.
It was both, man. Okay. It was both. I never forget, he had us throwing with this big old fat ball. Man, and I just got good at throwing. And because, like I said, I never played QB before then. Like, we throw it in the neighborhood. I knew I throw a ball, but, QB-wise, sharpen it up. But, he definitely did, and I got better at it, man.
What about from the leadership standpoint, man? Now you controlling the huddle.
Yeah.
Your voice is the one that I would imagine reigns supreme over everybody else's. Yeah. Was there any adjustment period that you went through getting accustomed to that?
It definitely was, because I'm not a vocal person when it comes to sports. In high school I wasn't. College it was a different person. Yeah. But in high school I wasn't. So it was different. It was definitely different taking over the huddle. But you grow into it. You just get more comfortable at it. But that just comes with preparation and things like that at the position.
What about some hating, man? You're a young bull and you out there on the front line pretty early. Did you have anybody not feeling that?
Yeah, I definitely heard it, man. But it was one of those things, man. I never let that type of stuff get to me. It was just that type of person I am, type of how I was just built mentally. I take that back to like I said, that didn't matter because Prentice and it didn't approve.
All that.
So it didn't really matter, but it definitely was there, man. I definitely heard it and felt it.
Shook it on off. Huh?
Yeah.
Out of your 4 years in McLean on that field, which year would you say was y'all's best? Meaning the year y'all had the best team out of your 4 years?
Probably I want to say my sophomore year, German senior year.
Right.
We had a couple people missing, but we definitely had the team. I think we lost 3-4 games combined to 5 points. I would say the best team my sophomore year. That freshman year team was good. Like I said, it was Paul, Sheldon, it was a lot of good guys, but overall it probably was that sophomore year team.
Right. And I'm thinking about some guys that were there, that weren't there that should have been there.
Absolutely.
Like Marcus Wilson. Ronald Shaw.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I don't even need to go no further than that.
You hit it right on the head.
What I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, so now we got to go in the gym. So you walking in as a freshman after football season is over with. What's that looking like, man? Can you remember your welcome to varsity basketball moment, whether it was in practice or if it's in a game? You stomping with the big dogs now.
I don't think I ever got that in basketball. Not a welcome. Oh, I did. I take that back. I take that back. I almost got dunked on in the Union tournament my freshman year. Guy took off like a step in front of the free throw line and almost dunked on me. I ain't take a charge since. I ain't take a charge since.
Hold on, but did you at least get the whistle though?
No, he almost in one dunk. It was embarrassing poster. Yeah, nah. Okay, yeah, man. Yeah, that.
Man, it couldn't. Hold on. Who was y'all playing against?
It was a team out of the city.
I was getting ready to say it better not have been. It couldn't have been Derek Lewis.
No. It was a team out of the city. Yeah.
I didn't realize that y'all were in that tournament too, because we were both in that tournament. I guess that was your freshman year. That been my junior year. And that was hell of a. That was when they first opened the UMAC.
It was
nice in that.
It was.
But that's another conversation.
Yeah, I know, right?
Day. So, what was your role like as a freshman?
Coming off the bench, I played point. I was a bigger body, man. I used that to my advantage playing basketball all throughout high school. I knew young to use my body. So I just used my body. And
well, nobody gonna take the rock from
me. Man, nobody gonna take the rock, man. I pride myself on that. So I was, role player. But as far as the season got, playoffs and things like that, my role increased. And I didn't start, but I got way more minutes as the season went on. Especially when we play Southeast in the championship. Championship.
In the quarters.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's hard, man.
Yeah.
But see, you mentioned start twice, so I got to ask two-part question. Number one, was it important to you or not that important if you started or not? No,
I'm a team player. I always said that, man. Like if we won, you know what I mean. Like you have your role. You know what I mean. Like my freshman year, we had a squad. So we had a lot of seniors, so I played my role. Like I said, I got in where I fit in. Like so, it just as a team. Like I always said it. Like and sometimes now I see it as a official. I'm like, guys got to learn how to play their role. Like everybody want to be the star, but in times or whatever, you got to play your role.
You do. It's like if everybody do a little bit, nobody has to do a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I still tell people I got to throw this in. I got to plug the Braves just a little bit.
Yeah.
So that year, we won it.
Absolutely.
Right? But I still tell people to this day, y'all were the most talented team. Like in terms of personnel, depth, height, athleticism. Yes. I mean, anyway, you had ball handlers, you had scorers.
Yep.
You had like defenders, like dogs. I'm like, man. So timing was just, we went over there and y'all beat us by like 25. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We ain't had Wayne.
I mean, no, Big Wayne,
Then on the return trip, I guess we found our stride by then.
Absolutely.
But we didn't beat y'all by no 25. And then I'm just looking at the state tournament bracket like, that side where y'all was at?
Yeah.
I said, we don't want to be on that side.
Nah, man,
let's play whoever that is. Let's play them in the final.
And Southeast was always good.
Yeah, they had just won 2 straight before that. They were going for number 3.
Billy Brothers, man.
Hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And shout out my boy Jamel Young, man. He be watching all these too, man.
Yeah,
he was number 15 on that group.
Oh, okay,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
The PG, you know what I'm saying? He was sort of built kind of like you were at that time.
They was nice, man. They had a squad.
So, okay, the second part of that question. QB, PG, young age. To me, that spells leadership qualities.
Yeah.
So to that, you say what? Man, how were you feeling being sort of like, in a lot of ways, the chosen one? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question, AD, man. And it was never like you said, it wasn't like chosen, but it was. I always knew how to go about myself. I always knew how to carry myself. So I never was a cocky person. I never was a person like, that, I'm starting as a freshman or I'm playing as, you know what I mean? I never was a person like that.
So ego was in check.
My ego. I never had a big ego when it came to sports and things like that. Like I said, I was a team person. Like I always say, man, I wish I would have won a state championship versus all my other accolades that I got. I always say that, man. So So, but just being young and put in that position, it was tough, but it definitely created that leadership quality as I went on to college and things like that.
Did you have some good veterans, guys that were older than you in the program that you could lean on or that could help guide you? Like, hey, young fella, let's do it like this. Or young fella, hey man, let me give you this game right here. How was that?
I would say from like Germany class, it was a couple of those guys who definitely guided me in the right way. Also, Coach Ray definitely was that person. Man. Coach Danny Daniels, they always was those rocks and those people that that made that impact.
Yeah, man. Now your sophomore year rolls around. You roll a little bit bigger. I'm seeing you on the court even more often. Were you starting by then?
I was starting by my sophomore year. I'm trying to think. I think Shea had left by then. But no. Was he there?
Yeah,
was he still there sophomore? He was there 2 years.
He was there too.
See, look, it's a lot of sports and a lot of in between.
There's a lot of moving parts.
It is. Okay. So I was starting my sophomore year. Role definitely increased. Had a good team. I'm trying to. We went to. I don't know if we went to state that year. I don't know if we made it to state that year.
Your sophomore year, No.
I don't think
y'all did.
Nope.
But y'all swept us that year in conference play. That still don't sit right with me, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got the best of us twice, and let us know about it too, man.
Yeah.
That's just how the culture was.
Yeah, man. But it definitely increased, man. And I got more comfortable. On the courts, playing in front of bigger crowds.
Yeah.
And basketball, I love playing basketball, man, because the crowds. It was close. I always say the gyms now is nicer. But I love the atmosphere, man. I love that right there in your face atmosphere.
Way more intimate.
Yeah, way more.
And I remember, I think one of them games, I can't remember which year, but one of those games we playing y'all over there, and I remember Prentice sitting like, you know what I'm saying, on the first little bench, and it's like you that close that the crowd could trip you if they wanted to. I missed that atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right there, dog. So it's like, man. All right, so. Oh, that's what I want to ask you. So your freshman year, did you play just varsity, or were you playing all three, freshman, JV, and varsity?
That's a great question. I had a coach, Coach Holman. Coach Holman, I'm gonna send this to you because he made me play freshman. I was starting varsity, playing varsity, he made me play freshman.
I love that.
Every game. I'm glad you brought that up. We won. We went to the championship. Freshman year and played Booker T, lost to Booker T. A great squad. They had Mike Dog, Justin Skillings, Shamir. They had a squad. But we played them in the championship and lost to them. But I'm glad he made me play, man. That's another thing that, he was just like, you're not bigger than, playing freshman. Mm-hmm. And I played every single freshman game.
I love that.
Even though I started varsity.
He was I think that does two things. It's keeping you humble.
Absolutely.
And it's also teaching you how to lead, because up here with the big dogs, I'm going to follow their lead. And I'm going to take the game I get from them. When I go back to the cats my own age, I'm going to show y'all how to do this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because
respectfully, I'm a little further along. That's why I'm up here.
Yeah.
I'm going to show y'all the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's hard. Yeah. So then, your junior year, man. Now, see, I'm in college by then, so I don't remember much about y'all's team that year. How'd it go, man?
It went good. Coach John Phillips took over, the assistant. The former TU basketball coach. Yeah. Alumni of McLean. He took over. It was great, man. It was different. He ran it a little bit different than Shea did. But it was great. He made me more of a leader. He really trusted me with the team, if that makes sense. Yeah. He really trusted me. He really wanted my input on things. Okay. He made me a better leader for sure. Definitely thinking back to.
Y'all had some one-on-ones.
Oh, we definitely did. I still communicate with him to this day. He definitely was that person who definitely had that believed in me to be even more of a leader.
Did you go, not just you, but your team, if you can remember, did y'all go through any adjustment period, having, turnover in coaches like that? Because Shea was there for 2 years, so he came right after Piggies, but I don't think you played at all in the Piggies era.
No,
did you?
I didn't.
So you just missed him, right?
But Piggies definitely was behind the bench after them 2 years that when Shea was there, for sure.
Yeah. So and no matter, not to take anything away from either coach, it's like
absolutely
no two people see things the same way. So it weren't like y'all were like the doormat. Y'all were rocking and rolling.
Absolutely.
Under one, and then here comes another. Like, was there some friction ever?
No, I don't think so. I know, like when we first, knew, it was going to be a different coach. Of course, some players was upset.
Yeah.
Of course, that's natural. But it definitely wasn't because, coach, they both, college mindsets.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, both great coaches did a little different.
Yes,
So it wasn't. It was just more of a culture that Coach brought, more of a family. But I can remember his whole family being at the games, and so
it was Phillips or Shea?
Coach Phillips.
Oh, that's
yeah,
hard.
yeah. So it was just more of that. So it wasn't anything like that. It definitely, it was great. It got better.
Now I got to ask an even more low key, messy question. Not only did Coach Shea leave, but he went down the street.
Yeah.
Man. Anybody feel a way about that?
A couple people did. Honestly, man, I talked to him. I was straight with it. Like and that's the thing, man. Like I understood at a very young age just how things work. Like that was a great opportunity. He went and.
Can't argue with
can't argue with it at all. So no problem from me. But of course, people, school, community was upset that he left or whatever. I'm sure he still get flack for it to this day. For leaving. But for me, no problem.
It was straight.
Yeah.
What about your senior year, man? Your last run as far as basketball goes, because you're going to college for football at that point. So basically, you playing with house money. You know what I mean? So what was that senior run in basketball like for you?
It was fun, man. I just wanted to play. I just wanted to just play, man. It was. I don't think we did as good. Well, we did. We went to state my senior year. Mm-hmm. We lost to Bishop McGinnis because we played against Daniel Orton. They went to Kentucky. We lost first round state against them. My center, KT, was like 5'10". So
the fact that you said center makes me laugh because I remember how he was built.
Yep.
He had some meat on his bones.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a member of the 6 foot club.
And not at all. So, but it was good though, man. I just wanted to play. And basketball, I still love basketball, even though I was going for football. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know this, man. Like when TU came into the picture, because TU didn't come into the picture late. So like Coach Blankenship came to a Booker T basketball game. Then we played Booker T at Booker T, and saw athleticism and all that, man. So yeah.
Man, that's hard.
Yeah.
Speaking of, since you took me there, who all was recruiting you?
Man, it was a lot of schools. It was most of the Big 12 schools, K-State, KU, TU came, of course, like I said, came in late. Iowa State. That was the schools that was on me hard.
Was anybody trying to recruit you for a different position than what you specialize in?
K-State wanted me to play running back. But yeah, I know, right? That's what I said. So it was a thought. They wanted me to gray shirt, which was a little different than red shirt.
Right.
But they wanted me to do that and play running back. But I knew I wanted to play defense.
So you were dead set on that.
Yeah. See, I knew that. Even though I had success in high school on offense, I knew I wanted to play defense in college.
For sure. So ultimately, why TU? Well, what made them stick out above the other ones that were on you?
Man, I started thinking about the impact, I could have here.
Yeah.
It was the right fit, like from depth chart to the coaches and things like that. It made sense to be here. And plus academics, like you can't beat it.
Right.
And it changed my life, man. Going to TU changed my life for sure.
And you ended up gray shirting there too, right?
I did.
Okay, explain what gray shirting means, because of course you hear about red shirt all the
time.
When you start changing colors, it get crazy.
So man, basically just you're not coming into that January. So you like I went through summer school and I didn't report like the fall camp. They at that time they get you a job. An apartment or whatever, and you're doing that until January. Mm-hmm. So that's what gray shirting is.
What would be the purpose of that?
Not enough scholarships, and actually, Coach Blank wanted me. I'm glad you brought that up. They take me back. It's a point. I went through summer camp. Things like that, and they seen or whatever. So they wanted me and another guy to switch scholarships. And he gray shirt, and I come in and play. Well, I found out I had to take a math class that I flunked my freshman year that I messed up.
Yeah.
I had to take it, so I couldn't come in. I had to during that fall semester. Mm-hmm. I had to take that class. So it goes back to something that happened my freshman year
4 years ago
affected me. In college. Mm-hmm. So, yep, that's what happened.
And then did you know that right away? Like, God dog it, I remember this.
Immediately I knew. Mm-hmm. I was like, that math class that I didn't ever go to.
Right.
So,
What was speaking of going? Oh, you just told on yourself there.
Yeah.
You were talking. You kept it vague earlier when you said I was making mistakes. You just flat out wasn't going to class.
I wasn't going. I wasn't going.
So what's the accountability like at the NCAA Division I level when it comes to being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, and the price you got to pay if you're not?
Man, I still have PTSD from being late or missing a workout. Man, it was definitely because like accountability. You miss a workout, you up at 4 o'clock running whatever crazy idea coach didn't thought up.
Right.
You're doing. So it's just just being on time, things like that. Being structured with your day is managing your time. Like it was the hardest thing. Like coming from high school to colleges, you have to manage your time. You got to manage your time, and it's hard. But it's accountability when it comes to if you missed, a training session or a weight. It's tough.
Was it all on you, the individual, if you make a mistake like that, or is the whole squad having it?
Oh no, it's on you. It's coach wasn't, and that's the thing. It was all hold yourself accountable. Everybody hold each other accountable. We strong. Right. So coach didn't he didn't punish everybody else. You was up at whatever clock. Running by yourself.
Yeah, with whatever one of the coaches that they gotta get.
Exactly.
He probably ain't happy being up that early
at all. So you really gonna be out there doing some crazy stuff.
So what did a regular day? Let's fast forward to once you became active and eligible. You'd have been a sophomore, freshman on paper, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of your eligibility, right?
No, yeah, I came in true freshman, so it wasn't like no red shirt freshman, nothing like that. It was straight true freshman when I came in my freshman year.
So,
So
what was a regular day like for you? Like break it down from the moment you wake up to the moment you get ready to go to sleep. I would imagine it was jam packed, right?
Jam packed. Like? Man, from weights, because freshman year it was weights at 5 o'clock, so you had weights at 5. After weights, you had to go to breakfast, mandatory breakfast. They checking you off
before you wash up or after.
Oh no, you got to leave from workouts to weights. From workouts to breakfast. Like it wasn't in between. So that's what you. So after that class, like you said, shower, class, and if you had another class, you might get a break. But if you got to get those study hall hours in, so study hall hours, and then you have practice from film from about 2 to about 3, and then you have practice from about 3 to about 6. And then after that, you have mandatory study hall after practice that you have to go to. In between, you can kind of sneak in the hour or whatever because you had to have a certain amount of hours throughout the week. Okay. So, but that after practice, you had to go to mandatory tutoring or whatever you had. Mm-hmm. And then you had to go to dinner. Then you might go to bed about 11.
Oh, you gotta wake up
and do it all over again.
But about how long would you say you had to go before you figured out a routine? Like, all right, my body's used to it, my mind's used to it. I'm in the swing of things now. Man,
it was definitely freshman year. Man, freshman year in college was definitely crazy. It was not crazy in a bad way. Crazy in a way like we always all trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. But just trying to navigate each day, like it was tough. Yeah. Like it was tough. Like so, we all kind of just leaned on each other. Like man, like we got to get through this. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of one of those things.
That's
for
that
sure.
Brotherhood.
That's the brotherhood. You have to, man. You have to lean on each other when there's some hard workouts and things like that. Man, I don't want to go to class or got to hold each other.
For sure. Hey man, and how much contact did you have with the outside world during that time? Even though you right here at home, it seemed like in terms of the lifestyle you were living, you were miles away in a lot of ways. Like how often were you talking to mom? How often were you talking to your bros and to the cats that were still in high school, but they still the bros?
But well, freshman year, I still was going back to eating at mom's crib. I still was going back eating at mom's crib. So in that sense, like I still was, talking to the outside world, to the community. And that was the thing. Like I always still wanted to be, in the community. Even since far away, but I still wanted to be in the community. I remember I used to go back to the, to the basketball games and football games at McLean. Just still showing face.
Get that love too.
Yeah, and that was another thing, man. Why I chose TU, man. Just being a hometown person, being a hometown kid, and now it's great. It's great when I go places and I played at TU and know people. So.
And you wear it well, and meaning that when I see you, you don't look like you big boying somebody, or you just superstar out here.
Nah,
you know
man.
what I mean?
Yeah, I was talking to the principal Monroe, Kaiser, and he was saying the same thing, man. Like you don't really brag about it, whatever. And that go back to the type of person I am. With it just humble, man. Like it was part of what I did or whatever. But of course now I'm doing something different. But yeah, like I don't know. That's the type of person I am, man. Like I don't really like to talk about it. Unless we in you didn't do this. Okay, now I got to bring it up.
Barbershop
so
talk.
Yeah, there you go. Barbershop talk. If it lets something like that, man, I just leave it alone. Because what you do speaks for itself.
For sure. Now you finally on that field, and I got my Googleables right here. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You started 34 out of 37 games, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. It says you were just 2 sacks short of breaking the school record of 20. Is that right?
No, I broke it.
You broke it?
Oh, I got the sack record.
What's the sack record? Give me the number.
20. I think it's 22.5. What it is?
Man.
Yep. I got the sack record and the TFL record, tackle for loss record. Yep.
Oh man.
I hold those 2 records still to this day to you.
What's the TFL record?
Tackle for loss.
Oh, I'm talking about the number.
I don't know that number.
You just know you got the record.
I know I got the record for sure.
Man.
Yeah.
So was success pretty instant for you once you got playing, or did it take a minute?
Freshman. Well, it was 2 different positions. I started at middle linebacker, but then we kind of changed the defense, and I went to the edge, kind of like outside rusher with Von Miller do now. So I found success there. That's where I had 8.5 sacks my freshman year, freshman All-American. So yeah, that's where I found success at that position. It just was a tweak. Like it was different from the speaking of football terms, the offense coming straight ahead from an ankle. So it was just different for me. But yeah.
Man, you got going quick.
Yeah, man. I just learned, and again, they're coming from McLean and not playing in front of big crowds or whatever. Like I always wanted to play at the college level. I always wanted to play at that level. So when I had the opportunity, man, I just took advantage of it. And at the time, like we didn't have a huge number of linebackers at the time. So I came in at the perfect time of just to get in and start. Like, cause me and another guy was competing for the job, and he was a freshman too. So
the practice every day was live.
Man, it was live. It was competing, and they go back just competing. They go back to competing in the neighborhood, with each other, and just learn how to be a competitor. And that translated to college, where you had to every single practice, every single workout, everything.
Man, which year was your best, your most productive season, man?
My senior year was my most productive season,
right.
But we were not good as a team.
Right. Wasn't your strongest year as a team.
No? But by far my senior year, I won conference defensive player of the year. So by far my senior year. Yeah.
Man, everybody wants to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
We all do, and that looks different for certain people. Depending on who you ask. Some people just want to light the place on fire, figuratively speaking, like from an individual standpoint. Yeah. And you got others that really want to win that thing.
Yeah.
But I would imagine, man, were you thinking at all like, okay, could this be the end, or do I got some more gas in the tank to take this thing to the next level?
Man, it did well. Go back to I had my son. I had my son my sophomore year.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, junior year, I had my wife, my now wife, got pregnant. Sophomore year going to junior year. Okay. So that when you saying that, like that was my motivation. Man, like okay, I got because college is a wear and tear on you from a mental, from your body, everything.
It ain't quite as fun.
No, it's not. It's a business, man. I always tell kids that it's definitely a business, man. So like you said, it wasn't fun. So meeting her and having my son definitely gave me that motivation. Like, man, I got go to that next level. I can go to the next level. I have to. But as time went on, I had somebody who who instilled in me in college, Cornelius Arling, who was a linebacker at TU as well, who was a dog. Should have played in the league too. Shout out Twan. He man, you got to graduate. You know what I mean? Don't just come to school and don't graduate.
That's
don't
real.
get your degree.
Yeah.
And I never forget in the meeting room him telling me that, and that stuck with me. So man, I wanted to get my degree. So it just kind of as time went on, it looked different. And also too, like my senior year, like I took my PCL. I played my whole senior year without my PCL. They was like, you don't need it. I played like a game with a brace on. After that, I just like played with a sleeve, and I just rocked it. Yep.
Was it rough on you?
Oh yeah.
It was super painful?
It was, man. I had to take pain pills, man. Man. So it just, man. But I wanted to go to the next level.
For sure.
I wanted to prove, you know what I mean. And like I said, it was my most productive year. And I should have set out a couple practices. But again, man, I wouldn't take anything back, man. I always say, like, you know, people ask, I might be jumping, but like when people ask, like, you know, do you wish you would have went to the NFL and things like that? I'm like, I had a great productive college career, like, so I don't have no regrets.
So when it was over, when you played your last game, you telling me the fire just went out, like it wasn't burning no more? You felt relieved that, okay, it's over, or did you feel like, man, I got some more?
No, I definitely, man. I went to the Saints training camp, but again, I was beat up. Yeah. I played, like I said, I should have missed practices. Yeah. But
I like that in you though. Like, man, if we working, I'm working too.
We working. So I went to the Saints training camp. I was there. Partially tore my Achilles.
Same leg as the PCL?
Yep. Same leg. So got cut and, you know, came back, start training or whatever. But yeah.
It's like that, huh?
Yep, just like that, man. And after that, like I went to go play with the Oklahoma Thunder with Prentice. I went to go play with them because I always wanted to play with Prentice. I played with Germany, but I never got to play with Prentice.
It was about a 5-6 year gap between y'all two?
Yep. So I went to go play with them, man, and that was, you know, that was for fun. It was insane. That was just for fun, nothing too, you know, serious. But yeah. So but after that, man, I ain't had no regrets.
I love it, man. It's just, man. When it's over, it's over. That's why I always got to ask, did you get it all the way out of you?
I got it out. I got it out. Like I said, I had no regrets, man. I didn't.
That's hard.
Not at all.
Now, we did skip a chapter.
We did.
We got to talk about AAU, man.
Yeah.
The PWP experience. You played for Shay and, was it Lee?
Yep, and Rod.
And all three.
Yeah, they all kind of was interchangeable. Yep.
Yeah, are you right? Now that I think about it, sometimes I would see two on the bench. Other times I see all three.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see one coach standing. Other times I see the other one standing. And if I remember correctly, you said you found AAU relatively late in the game, right? When you got to high school, when you started playing AAU, or was it middle school?
No, middle school. I played Punchy.
So you was Team Tulsa?
Yeah, Team Tulsa. We probably had one of the best teams. We so from sixth grade to about 8th grade, we had a team, and then after 8th grade, we all played Team Tulsa. We all went to PWP. So then, because the older PWP was Keaton Page, Ken Holman, and Sidney Hadnot.
Mike Jones,
all them. Yep.
Man, listen, I'll tell you, we used to have to run across both of y'all.
Yeah,
you know
but they had a squad too.
And they was younger than us. Beat us one time.
Yeah.
Them suckers beat us, dog. The night before prom. And because we lost to them, we supposed to play later that night. No, it was the day of prom. First game was like at 10 in the morning. We like, listen, we got to win this game or else. It's going to be a compromise.
Oh, wow.
Lost that joint. Definitely didn't play that night. We had to go to the prom, man. And then we lost again. So we had to come back at like 8 in the morning, man. Fresh off with no sleep and none of that. But it was but that's just how important competition was.
Absolutely.
Who don't want to go to the prom? But it's like, think about hoops been in the back of the mind for
always.
Real. But man, so who all was on your squad though? I know some names, but let the public know.
We had Brian Harris, Nick Harris. We had Bryce Pope, who went to Jinx, who went to TU. We had Matt Qualls.
That's a name I always forget.
Who we had Alex Young, who also went to Jinx. A lot of us went to. We all played with Team Tulsa though, so we all came over there and added, you know, some other guys in. We had Will Bryan, who went to Casher Hall. And we had some squad. Yeah,
and some
man.
chemistry already built in.
Absolutely.
What was your role? Or was your role / play style any different AAU wise versus when you playing in high school?
Yeah, I always, and that's the thing. Like I knew I wanted to play football.
Right.
So I love basketball, and you know I was good enough to play on a good AAU team.
Yeah,
so,
you weren't just good enough, dog.
Yeah,
you was one of them guys, man. You can hoop.
Appreciate it. But I knew my role. Like we were all good. And that was the thing. Like come in with an AAU team. Like, we all good. So we all just play your role. Like, I learned that at a young age, man. We all got to play our role. And I did that. I don't even think that last year at AAU, I didn't even start. Like, I came off the bench. Didn't even matter. I still was just playing.
Y'all really could have ran 5 if you wanted to. It was that deep.
We could have.
This group.
We could have, for sure.
What's some of the some of the notable opponents you remember playing? You know what I mean? Some of those squads that from the big time cities on the big time circuits at these big time tournaments.
Atlanta Celtics. We played Derek Favors. He was on that team.
Yep. Okay.
That was probably the most notable that I played against was Derek Favors, that Atlanta Celtics team, for sure. We played against a lot of other good AAU teams, but yeah, that was by far the most athletic, the most and from top to bottom, the best team I've played against.
Another thing that's kind of unique is basically your head AAU coach was your head high school coach.
Yeah.
How unique was that, man?
It was cool. Like, that's how before we all went to PWP, he was always telling me, come, because they had just started up with our age group. They played, I think, a couple tournaments, but they weren't. I don't think they were that good until we all came over. But it was good, man. It worked. Like I said, Shay a great guy. We still have a great relationship. So that was another reason why I ended up going to TU,
right.
And Coach Phillips as well. So yeah.
You had a nice little pipeline, a nice little village.
Absolutely, man. It's a village, man. Take a village for sure.
Definitely, man. As we coming down the home stretch, man, we gotta talk about some life after sports. Of course, you spoke about it, man. You're a husband now. You're a father now.
Yeah.
What's family life like, man?
Man, I love it. I don't cherish anything more than being a dad and a husband. It's something that just I always wanted to be that, and now just being in that position, man, it's the most beautiful thing that I can do. Yeah. Just give back to to my kids.
Kids plural now.
2. I have a 2-year-old. I said 2-year-old. I'm sorry. 3-year-old. She just turned 3, and then I have a soon-to-be 10-year-old son.
That's hard, man. What's the fundamental difference between parenting a son versus parenting a daughter as a dad?
Oh man, it's tough, man. Yeah. The daughter, she get whatever. It's tough, man. It's definitely different personalities from her and my son. He cool. He in his room. He a gamer, so he be in his room chilling. And he 10 now, so he don't want no parts. He out that stage where he don't even want to talk now.
Right.
And then her, she in my face 24/7.
I love it.
Yeah.
Man. What about your hobbies, dog? What could anybody find you doing on your off time? Let's say you're done working for the day, maybe the kids are asleep or they occupied. Let's say your wife doing whatever to entertain herself. What could we find you doing, man, on some you time?
I'm either on YouTube, watching highlights and something like that, or I'm on the game.
Oh, you a gamer too, huh?
Yeah, I play the game. I play the game a little bit. Not as much as my 2 brothers at all, but I definitely play the game. Yeah.
What's the game of choice? What's the go-to?
Call of Duty, for sure.
Straight up?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, no hesitation.
No hesitation, Call of Duty. I still play. Me and my college best friend, Manny, we still play.
Getting it done.
Yeah.
That's hard, man. I mean, we can't let that inner child die, man. We got to keep something childish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Got to.
So you just told me a little earlier, before we came into the gym right here, that you just accepted a position at Monroe, where you went to middle school.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, first of all, what's the gig? What's your role going to be? And how fulfilling is that it's basically coming full circle? You in the kid business now.
Absolutely. I'll be a social worker. So just helping kids, plugging kids in with resources, things like that. Any needs around the school, things like that. In the community, I'm there supporting. And like you said, coming back full circle, just being in the school that you went to, now you're working. And man, I love it. I feel at home. It's a blessing to be in a position to give back. I always say so many people poured into us. And I know it's me, that I have to give back.
Sure.
I have to, because that's my calling. I never forget. In college, I'm like, I got to go back to where I was, where I was brought up and give back how other people do their communities.
So that was a thought even in college, huh? In
college, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to come back and be some type of in a mentor role, helping people. I always say I'm going to be helping people. That's the thing. Like we got to help each other in any way we can. in the community, and that's the business I'm in, and just helping our kids and helping our students to be successful.
From the inside. And you're going to be coaching too, huh?
Yeah.
Man, hopefully I don't let the cat out the bag, but they ain't going to see this for a little while. So, coaching, what exactly? You know
Football. I don't know about any other sports, but I know I'm definitely gonna help out with the football for sure.
Okay, man. How excited are you about that, man?
I'm super excited, man. Like I said, I officiate high school football on Friday nights.
I didn't even know that part.
Yeah.
Dang.
I officiate high school footballs on Friday nights. I'm on the crew.
You just can't get away from the game.
No, I can't. That's how I stay. That's how I stay in the game. I guess I left that part out, huh? Yeah, but that's what I do. I guess that's what I do on my spare time. I ref. But I gotta stay, engaged in the game and around it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Last question. Here's how we'll close it. We call this the all due disrespect segment. All right. So in football and in basketball, I want you to think back to one game that your squad lost, but you shouldn't have lost. And if you could go back in time, you would run it back right now today.
Football or basketball?
Both, 1-1. And it could be high school, college, it could be AAU.
I go back to that Southeast game.
Oh, okay.
I go back to that game. Yeah, we shouldn't have lost that game, man. We had a 6'8" center. Like, we shouldn't have lost. Like, I go back to the game. That game I always home me because we shouldn't have lost.
And who knows? That would have changed the course of history of y'all.
That would have changed. In football, man, I have to say a game, Jeremy senior year, we was playing against McAllister. And they beat us on a last-second field goal. And it was if we would have got into the playoffs, and that did it for us. Yep.
Golly, so that'd have been what, 06? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, look at you. Golly, I love that question because of course you had a ton of success, man.
Yeah.
But it's those little moments where we weren't successful.
Man,
them the ones that stick out.
It
you know
stick
what I'm
with us.
Even though this number way smaller than this one.
Me and my brother still talk about that. He be like, man, I really cried after that game. Like, it was real tears.
It meant something.
Yeah, it meant something.
Well, brother, man, listen, I've had you on my list of people to get at for a long time, man. As soon as I hit you up, man, you told me yes for sure.
Absolutely.
With the exclamation marks, man. So that made me feel good, and I'm glad we had this conversation, man. So welcome back, even though you never left.
Hey.
Well, welcome to the education scene.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait to see you on them sidelines on that field, coaching them up, man.
Hey, I appreciate. Yeah, yes, sir. I'll be doing both. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be on. I watch it as well. So, hey, support anything, man. So
That's
I
love,
appreciate
man.
it.
Yes, sir.